yield. So the other person pushes on me and I get out of the way. I use their force against them. They overextend and do that. Okay? Now, if you remember from the religion section, this is a very Taoist concept where I'm not going to struggle against them. I'm going to use, because struggling is against the way of the universe or whatever, I am going to go with the flow. I'm going to be more spontaneous. I'm not going to resist. I'm going to let them work against me, and they're working too hard, and as the classics say, the soft will overcome the hard. Okay? So, I'm throwing out a lot of Mulan references, but the new movie, the line, if applied correctly, 4 ounces can move 1,000 pounds. Okay? So you've got a lot of force going this way, and if I just redirect it just a little bit, I don't have to stop it, catch it, move it. I just have to redirect it a little bit. Okay? That's actually a Tai Chi line. Right? And I joked after I saw the movie, great, every time now I quote the Tai Chi classics, everybody thinks I just stole that from the law, right? But it's actually in the Tai Chi classics, that line. Okay, so that is the premise behind a lot of Tai Chi. But nowadays, like I said, people see all the old people doing the Tai Chi in the park and everything else, and for all the health benefits and other reasons that we discussed, people then go, oh, that's not real martial art or whatever else. Throughout history, some of the greatest Chinese martial arts masters, in terms of renowned fighting skill and everything else, have been Tai Chi masters. Right? So it is a very legitimate martial art. Admittedly, the way most people practice today, you're not going to get very good at fighting and doing, because that's not their primary method or interest in what they're really focused on trying to get out of practice. Okay? But in terms of martial arts, it absolutely is a good martial art. It has a lot of grappling in it. Okay? When we're doing these movements, we're going again nice and slow, when we're pressing and things like that. Those are a lot of grappling applications, throws. It can get, right? There's a lot of joint locks and breaks in those movements. And again, most of the people, right, don't really, they're not really interested in doing that. But I always say in our classes we do some of the martial arts anyway, because I've always insisted that the quality of the movement that you need for health is the same quality of movement you need for martial arts. So if you can do it right for martial arts reasons, then you get the quality that you need for the health benefits, right? If I'm just going, oh, see, I'm moving, I'm relaxed. Everybody's heard of tennis elbow, right? You use too much, you kind of has a strain in tendons or whatever. There's now Tai Chi knee. Right? Because, like, if, oh, see, I'm relaxed, the video says I gotta be nice and relaxed, but like we're wobbling and we're doing it wrong because there's no quality behind it, you can actually kind of hurt yourself and stuff like that, right? So again, it is still a martial art, okay? But it is very much, everything I just described is very much in the soft realm, right? It's a very soft, circular, relaxing, chi energy, okay? Those types of things, very much a soft style, okay? There are different styles. Qin, Yang are two of the big ones. Qin is the progenitor style, Qin village. So as again, the external styles came from Shaolin Temple, right? Qin village is the home of Tai Chi, okay? And it is still kind of the Mecca today. People, it's not like going to the Shaolin Temple, but it's like going to, but there are, people who go to Qin village to practice and everything else. And it's still much more like a village. It is not the tourist destination that the Shaolin Temple has become, okay? Now, then there are the other Xingyi and Bagua, okay? Bagua is based on the 8 trigrams, okay? So if you look at the Korean flag next door, we talked about the trigrams, right? There are 4 on the flag, there are 8 together, the same 8 trigrams that the Kuki-Wan template forms are based on, right? Those trigrams. Bagua is symbolized by that. Bagua is very, very circular. It is known for its circle walking. So if you see people, the way they have a very specific way they step and they turn. So as they walk, they're stepping, and they're usually, as they're doing it, they're doing this palm change or coiling action, right? So if you see people like walking on, usually it's like a circle on the ground, and then it has like the trigrams, like there's a yin-yang circle, and then it has the trigrams around based on where in this yin-yang cycle those trigrams apply, but basically they're walking around the circle. If you see that, that's Bagua. So a lot of coiling and a lot of horizontal turning and coiling and wrapping in the motions, okay? Xingyi is a little different in that the Tai Chi form, the Bagua stuff, they have smaller sets, but generally speaking, like the Tai Chi form, the short form takes like 7-9 minutes to move or to do, in part because you're going really slow. That kind of is part of it, right? Okay, but pretty long. Xingyi is very short sets, okay? It was developed by a Chinese general who was very famous for spear techniques, okay? And so his techniques are basically very spear-based, and they are more for, it has an empty hand version, but they were inspired by spear. Remember in the religion section, we also talked about the age-old question is, if I needed my martial arts for the battlefield or my other profession that involves security, bodyguarding, whatever, and my life depended on being good at my job, right, then I didn't really care whether it was Taoist or Buddhist or whatever type of, what the philosophical underpinnings of the martial art was. I just wanted to save my bacon. Okay? That's what mattered, right? So again, we said a lot of people would say this religious connotation, Taoist versus Buddhist or whatever, is really afterthought, right? This guy was good at the spear, he made it empty hands, he happened to then describe things pretty much after the fact in kind of more this Taoist terms and things like that for people to kind of relate to it. Oh, I get it now, right? But so again, maybe, so we might be putting this philosophical underpinning to it after the fact, okay? But Xingyi is very linear and very up and down, okay? For a soft or internal style, okay, the phrase is splitting, right? So there's a lot of linear motions going straight up and down this way here. Now, so Bagua, very circular and horizontal. Xingyi, very linear and very up and down. So in some ways they're opposites, but in some ways they complement each other. Yeah. So as tradition has it, famous Bagua master, famous Xingyi master got together to duke it out, and like basically they fought all day, and there was no winner. They couldn't best each other because again they kind of complemented and counteracted each other. So as so ever since, not always, but sometimes Bagua and Xingyi are studied in tandem. A lot of people study both, so they get kind of both aspects, okay? Give you another movie reference. It's kind of old, but Jet Li's The One. Has anybody seen The One? Okay, so it's kind of like a martial arts Highlander movie, if you know what the Highlander is, okay? But, so there's like a bad Jet Li from another universe or parallel universe or whatever dimension, and the good Jet Li in our dimension, I guess, right? So one of the things I like about this movie in particular, and Jet Li does a good job of this in all of his movies, generally speaking, is he defines the character by the fighting style. A lot of times, if you understand, like if he's an out of control kind of psycho guy, his fighting style is very aggressive, very, again, if he's like, Zen master, very under control, his fighting style is very minimal, least energy. Like the character kind of, the fighting style kind of helps define the character. He does a really good job of that. So the bad guy in the one, you should just YouTube the final fight scene. The bad guy in the one, like he's all chained up before he escapes, right? So he's got his shackles on his hands and his feet, and you see him, he's just doing shingy in the cage, like in the cell. He's got his shackles on, but he can still move very linear, short movements up and down, right? So he's just doing his shingy back and forth, right? And then the good guy, you see him in the garden early on, he's doing his bagua, he's circling and doing all this type of stuff, or whatever, okay? And then, a little spoiler alert here, right? Then they fight at the end, and the bad guy is, you know, getting beat up pretty good. He's losing, oh my gosh, he's all lost and everything. And then he centers himself and starts doing his palm changes, starts his bagua walking, right? Now this circle is going to take on the linear, right, and everything else. And then and spoiler alert, the circle, the good guy wins. But basically, right, it's that defining. They had one guy one and one guy the other, and you see the bagua and the shingy against each other. It's kind of neat how they did it. Okay? All right. Let's take 2 minutes, take a quick break, and then we're going to go out. And we're not going to do very much Kung Fu today. We're going to keep building on, we're going to do a little boxing like we did last week, and then we are going to do, we also talked about Wing Chun as it related to Jun Fan last week. We're going to do a little Wing Chun. So technically we're still doing the Chinese martial art, but not Kung Fu. Okay? So, take 2 minutes, we'll go next door and we'll play.